thank you for joining us on Rockland News this morning. I am your co-host, Tom Osa, and thanks for joining us today. You noticed that I mentioned co-host, and you probably hear on Wednesdays when Mike and I are talking and bantering on the air, and of course, delivering the news. I have always complained about doing the news on Monday mornings. It's been a year and a half since we did the tip of the spear thing and ran up the hill, planting the flag where WRCR used to be, and they sold to WABC radio. The frequency is still in transition. It's going very nice and methodically, and Rockland's News has been covering that story for the last 6 months, including speaking with representatives over at WABC radio in person. I took a road trip. I headed down there, this, that, and the other. So things are happening and moving, but I want to take myself a little bit more out of the equation of the morning news. And I figured that I'd turn it over to someone that I've worked with in the past and I enjoyed working with him. So we talked a little bit over the last few weeks, introducing Robert Joasis, who will be delivering the morning news from time to time here at Rockland's News. Robert, thank you for joining us today on the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, Tom. I'll tell you something. If it wasn't for Tom's personality, his charm, I think everything that I have, I wouldn't be on right now. So
you're making me blush over here. Stop that.
I know. Well, you're much younger than me. I'm kind of serious. So I better just do the news, people, because Tom is going to get very upset. So.
No.
Anyhow. All right. The Rockland County District Attorney's Office announced that its fifth grand jury term ended May 27th after considering cases from early in May. 14 defendants were indicted on charges ranging from DWI and attempted arson to assault, robbery, and aggravated family offense. The DA release stresses that an indictment is only an accusation and all defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Orange and Rockland Utilities issued a storm watch for June 6, warning residents to expect damaging winds, heavy rain, and possible power outages. The utilities said crews were pre-staged and urged customers to report outages and stay away from downed lines. Now, Clarkstown's June newsletter reported the grand opening of the Congress Community Cafe at the recently refurbished Congress train station, and the expansion of the street community center's hours to 7 days a week. It also highlighted Veolia's water main replacement on Nyack Road. Sorry about that. June 17th, public hearing on safety improvements on both routes 303 and 304. Upcoming Nanuet, June 7th, and New City, June 14th. Street fairs, extended town clerk hours, and the opening of the New York Pickleball Club. Now, Clarkstown announced the June 6th ceremony dedicated Brook Lane and Lucille Boulevard as Lawrence Rose Way in memory of U.S. Army PFC Lawrence Rose, who was killed in Vietnam. Rose received the Purple Heart. Town officials invited the public to honor his service. In another story, State Senator Bill Weber's newsletter said he voted against legislation that would weaken New York's independent redistricting process and hosted Miss America 2026 and Miss New York at the Capitol. He invited constituents to a Veterans Appreciation reception and highlighted upcoming community events. RocklandNews.com interviewed East Ramapo School Board member Sabrina Charles Pierre, who alleged that district administrators hid spending details. She criticized a $700,000 budget line labeled high school support system, said frequent turnover undermines stability, and called for the state oversight to ensure funds serve public school students. Now, another news story, not so good. Eduardo Hernandez, who previously served time for rape and kidnapping, was sentenced to 14 years for attempting to abduct a woman in Haverstraw in September 2025. RocklandNews.com reports that the victim escaped when a witness intervened, and that prosecutors noted Hernandez did have a history of violence. Next story, an 8-year-old girl, Shondell Herzberg, died, sadly, after being struck by a vehicle while cycling in Pomona on June 2nd. Emergency responders rushed her to the hospital, but she later succumbed to her injuries. Police are investigating the accident and urge drivers to be cautious. Now, Rockland County Business Journal revealed that Bus Patrol, the contractor behind Rockland's school bus stop arm camera program, I'm sure you've seen that quite often, is paying the county's lawyers in a Freedom of Information law dispute. The suit seeks to force Rockland's to release contract details. Critics argue that the arrangement is a conflict of interest because of company being scrutinized is funding the legal defense. Again, Rockland County Business Journal reported that Governor Kathy Hochul launched the 2026 Regional Economic Development Council initiative, providing $150 million in state grants via the consolidated funding application and the Achieve competition. The same article notes that Rockland Paramedic Services earned the American Heart Association's Mission Lifeline EMS Bronze Award for rapid research-based care in cardiac and stroke emergencies. On another story, Rabbi Naftali Horowitz, I hope I pronounced that right, filed a federal lawsuit alleging Clarkstown violated the Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act by denying variances to enlarge his home for religious gatherings. The town contends the requested variances were significant and suggests the rabbi submit a scaled-down proposal. Going to another story, the New York Department of Transportation plans a single-lane roundabout at Route 9W in Oak Tree Road in Palisades, costing $5 to $6 million. Residents argue the project will disrupt the area and create safety issues, while the DOT says roundabouts reduce accidents and improve traffic flow. Well, that's good. Now, Rockland Post echoed the DA's release listing 14 indictments, including cases of DWI, assault, robbery, and attempted arson. Another Post piece noted ongoing Democratic infighting in the NY17, New York's 17th congressional race, spotlighting a lengthy dossier against candidate Kate Conlon. Now, the Nyack News and Views weekly roundup promoted local happenings. The Nyack Art Collective's first Friday Art Week, a watch party with ex-Knicks player. I'm sure he's happy about that since they're in the finals. Chris Childs, the African American Day Parade, Rockland Symphony Orchestra's Rising Stars concert, community cooking fundraisers, and Venture Together, which I'm very passionate about, being a nonprofit. Golf outing. Another Post highlighted June performance, including Rivertown's film screening of the documentary Woody Guthrie and the Ghost of Tom Joad on June 15th. The film The Christophers in June 10th, and other arts events to come. Rockland Report recapped the Nanuet Street Fair, which attracted around 8,000 visitors and featured more than 170 vendors, live entertainment, and family activities on Main Street. The June 7th event is considered one of the region's most popular street fairs. Now, also, the Rockland Report announced Fatal Ambition and Trial of Major Andre, a live reenactment of the 1780 British spy trial at the original Tappan Reformed Church on June 14th. The poster notes it starts at 10 a.m. and invites the public to learn about the Revolutionary War espionage case. Very important. Big fan of history, I am. Ramapo police freed a black bear cub. That's adorable. After it got a plastic container stuck on its head near Hilburn. Oh my goodness. A resident officers carefully removed the container and the cub scampered back into the woods. The department urged residents to dispose of containers properly to protect wildlife. We need more bears for sure. Rockland Report also promoted a 55th annual Powwow of Kettle in Stony Point, clarifying that the event honors the Canadian Chippewa community and distinguishing it from local Native history. Everybody should know about that. History is very important to this county. Muncie Scoop noted that Assemblyman Aaron Wheeler announced up to $70 million in securing communities against hate crimes grants, with upwards up to $250,000 to help nonprofit institutions improve security applications, will be due on July 8th. Rockland County reopened its $1.5 million fitness loop at Kennedy Dells County Park with modernized exercise station and invites residents to enjoy the upgraded trail. Muncie School promoted chaperone of Rockland's Kids Safety Day on June 6th, featuring bicycle registration, free snacks, police safety demos, a petting zoo, helicopter flyover, and helmet giveaways. That sounds fun. Rockland County established Traffic Camera Violations Bureau to adjudicate school bus stop armed camera infractions. County Executive Ed Day said the new administration court authorized by New York's 2026 state budget will speed enforcement, reduce court strain, and has already helped cut violations by 23%, with 90% of violators not reoffending. That's fantastic. Safety for our children is the most important thing. A joint gun buyback event in Rockland collected 19 weapons, 11 handguns, 3 assault-style rifles, and 5 long guns. Officials called it an investment in public safety and thanked residents for participating. The Rockland County Times reported that an 8-year-old girl was struck by a GMC Hummer while riding her bicycle on June 2nd in Ramapo. Unfortunately, she later died at Nyack Hospital. Police are investigating still, and no criminal charges have been filed. The County Times also recognized Rockland's paramedic services for receiving the American Hearts Award, Mission Lifeline EMS Bronze Achievement Award, which honors agencies that deliver rapid research-based care for heart attack and stroke patients. EMS teams often begin treatment up to an hour earlier than self-transport, illustrating the importance of coordinated pre-hospital care. Hudson Valley Press covers San Miguel program's 17th commencement at St. Mary's School in Newburgh. 14 graduates received diplomas. Student speaker Kanye Soriano, I hope I pronounced that right, highlighted leadership building experiences such as visiting the Pepsi company and taking Red Tails aviation classes. Sounds cool. Mid-Hudson News summarized the 14 cases returned by Rockland County's grand jury on June 8th, including charges like DWI, first-degree attempted arson, second-degree assault, robbery, and criminal contempt. The article lists each defendant and their alleged crimes. Another Mid-Hudson news story said the bipartisan bill before New York legislature will require volunteer firefighters convicted of crimes against their own department to forfeit their length of service award program retirement benefits. The bill was promoted by former Mohawk Fire Department Treasurer Keith Klein-Steft of $5.7 million and aims to close a loophole. The Peekskill Herald highlighted Hendrick Hudson's high track stars. Chloe Howard won the Class B race walk and qualified for the state's meet. Harley Cochran, I hope I'm pronouncing the names right, placed third in the hammer throw, and sophomore sprinter Sophia Sapaji qualified for the 100 to 200 to 400 meter dashes and anchored the 4x100 relay. An unusual trifecta, according to coach Marcia Bailey. Additional relay teams and athletes also qualified on set records. A June 4th blaze at the 115 High Street in Peekskill killed a 15-year-old boy. Firefighters arrived within 2 minutes and rescued an unconscious occupant from a multi-family home, but he later died at the hospital. Authorities are investigating the cause. Peekskill Volunteer Ambulance Corps Chief Stephen Sniffen wrote an op-ed explaining that as Peekskill grows, 9/11 calls have increased. PCVAC responded to 3,932 emergencies in 2025 and spent $698,489 to staff EMTs. Yet the city cut its annual contributions from $80,000 to zero. He urged officials to restore funding to ensure rapid response times and noted that the PCVAC relies on donations and volunteers. In our last story, good story, Stony Point Town News publicized an American 250 carnival on July 8th through 11th to celebrate the nation's 250th year anniversary. The event held at Patriot Hills Drive will feature rides, games, food, and music and fireworks. Back over to Mr. Tom Osa.
All right. Thank you, Robert. And that was the morning news for Monday, June 8th. It's June 8th, right, Robert?
As far as I know, all day, yes.
Okay, excellent. And I have to say, I very much enjoyed the way that you delivered the news. It was the instinct I had about a year and a half ago. So, welcome to the team. We want to thank everybody that's been listening in to this podcast and live stream. As a reminder, you can catch all the news that matters to you most at rocklandsnews.com. And we post a variety of stories, over 600 last year in 2025. We also have the Apple podcast, as well as this live stream eventually being available on Spotify and, of course, on Facebook, because we're all on Facebook and so on and so forth. And we also want to thank our many, many sponsors that have helped us to bring the show to this point, and many more informational days that we're going to help people make the right choices out there. So, this podcast is sponsored in part by Work Smart New York Business Boot Camp, Yabu Fence Company, Dana Pest Control, Easy Temp located in Hackensack, New Jersey, Fiesta Acapulco located in Stony Point, New York, Kobe Sushi with their Jazz Music Lounge, music on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Mention Rockland News and you get 15% off your entire sushi order, minimum $75 for the table. Breakpoint Bowling, located in West Haverstraw, New York, entertainment center with laser tag, video games, and of course, 20 lanes of big screen bowling. Stony Point Massage, located in Stony Point, New York. Whole Shot Bagels, Haverstraw, New York. Mention Rockland's News and get a free bagel for a first-time attendance there. Attendance, yeah. UPS Store in West Haverstraw. Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy. 99 signs for all your digital, billboard, and portable sign needs. FZ Perfection Auto Body Repair and Clean Space Maintenance Management Company. Get a mobile dumpster brought over to your home so you can get rid of a lot of clutter in your house for just $199 plus some dumping fees. It's about 20% from when we used it, but it's worth it. Saves you a lot of time. And special thanks to our upcoming sponsors and supporters this summer. The Flowery, located in Haverstraw, New York. Stay tuned. We got some things happening there. Entertainment-wise, District 96, Noble Experiment, Roundtable Brewing Company, Stony Point Brewing Company, Red Barn Cidery, and Van Houten's. Until next time, my name is Tom Osa, but more importantly, thank you, Robert Joasis, for being on this episode of Rockland's News. Stay safe out there, everybody. We'll talk with you again. Take care.